Have you ever noticed that somewhere along the way, you forgot how to play? Not because you didn't have time, not because life became impossible, but because at some point someone convinced you that growing up meant becoming serious, that smiling too much looked childish, that laughing without a reason was immature, that if you wanted to be respected, you had to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. So you did, and without realizing it, you traded wonder for worry, curiosity for control, joy for seriousness. But what if you've mistaken seriousness for wisdom? What if the very thing you believe makes you mature is actually keeping you from feeling truly alive? Watch a child for just 5 minutes. They don't need a reason to laugh. They don't schedule happiness for the weekend. They don't ask themselves, am I doing life correctly? They chase butterflies. They invent imaginary worlds. They laugh at things adults don't even notice. And when they cry completely. When they laugh completely. Nothing is held back. Nothing is calculated. They are simply here, completely present, not trying to become someone, not trying to prove anything, just existing, fully. Now ask yourself, what happened? Children don't suddenly wake up one morning and decide to become serious. They are trained into it.
Sit properly.
Don't make so much noise. Act your age. Grow up. Life isn't a game. Little by little, they learn that approval comes from performance, that responsibility means tension, that being busy is more admirable than being joyful. Eventually, play becomes something you used to do, laughter becomes something that needs a reason, and happiness becomes a reward instead of a way of living. The strange part is, most people never question this. They assume seriousness is simply what intelligent people look like. Look around any office, any meeting, any classroom. The more serious someone appears, the more competent we assume they are. The person smiling quietly often gets overlooked. The person looking stressed is praised for working hard. Somehow, our culture has confused exhaustion with importance, as if carrying anxiety proves you're living correctly. But seriousness is not the same thing as depth. In fact, they're often opposites. Think about the wisest people you've ever met. Not the smartest, the wisest. Were they constantly tense? Did they walk around trying to control everything? Or did they have a strange lightness about them? A quiet humor, calm presence, the ability to laugh, even in difficult moments. History gives us countless examples. Many great spiritual teachers laughed often. Many philosophers appreciated irony. Many artists created their greatest work while remaining deeply playful. Their playfulness wasn't the opposite of wisdom. It was a consequence of it. Because once you truly understand how unpredictable life is, holding on to constant seriousness begins to feel unnecessary. Think of a musician. Imagine someone playing the piano. If they're terrified of making one wrong note, their hands become stiff. Every movement becomes forced. The music disappears. But when they relax, when they stop trying to control every second, the music begins to flow naturally. Life is remarkably similar. The tighter you grip it, the more difficult it becomes. The more you insist everything must happen exactly as planned, the more suffering you create. Not because life is against you, but because reality refuses to fit perfectly inside your expectations. The funny thing is, life itself has never been serious. Look at nature. Does a flower apologize before blooming? Does the ocean worry about whether its waves are impressive enough? Do birds need permission before they sing? Everything simply expresses itself. A flower blooms, and one day it withers. A wave rises, and then returns to the sea. The sun rises every morning, without wondering whether today will be successful. Life moves effortlessly. Only humans seem determined to argue with it. Most of the seriousness you carry doesn't come from life itself. It comes from the story your mind tells about life. The endless commentary. What if this goes wrong? What if they don't like me? What if I fail? What will people think? Notice something. The event isn't causing your suffering. The story about the event is, you aren't carrying life. You're carrying your interpretation of life. And interpretations can change. Imagine wearing a heavy backpack every day. At first, it's exhausting, but after years, you stop noticing the weight. It simply feels normal. Then one day, someone asks, "Why are you carrying that?" You look confused. "I've always carried it." That's seriousness. It becomes so familiar that you mistake it for your personality. You think, this is just who I am. But it isn't. It's something you learned. And what is learned can also be unlearned. This doesn't mean becoming irresponsible. Playfulness is not carelessness. Wisdom isn't pretending nothing matters. Pay your bills. Keep your promises. Show up for the people you love. Take responsibility for your actions. But don't confuse responsibility with emotional heaviness. You can take life seriously enough to care, without becoming consumed by it. A surgeon can remain calm while performing a difficult operation. A firefighter doesn't panic because the situation is important. In fact, clarity almost always performs better than tension. Presence is more powerful than panic. So how do you let go of seriousness? Not by forcing yourself to smile. Not by pretending everything is perfect. Begin by noticing. Notice how often your mind creates drama around ordinary moments. Notice how quickly it turns small inconveniences into disasters. Notice how often you're rehearsing conversations that never happen, or worrying about futures that never arrive. Then ask yourself one simple question. Will this matter 5 years from now? Most of the time, the answer is no. And if it won't matter then, does it deserve all of your peace today? Try something else. Spend a day doing one thing with complete presence. Drink your coffee without looking at your phone. Walk without rushing. Watch the sky for a minute. Laugh without wondering how you look. Play a game. Dance to a song. Not because you're trying to become happier, but because, for a moment, you stop treating life like a problem that needs solving. At some point, someone convinced you that being serious meant being profound. But think about the people who made you feel most alive. The ones you still remember years later. Were they the most serious people you knew? Or were they the ones who made you laugh, made you feel safe, made ordinary moments feel extraordinary? They weren't shallow. They were present. And there is a world of difference. Seriousness is armor. Presence is what remains when you no longer feel the need to wear it. So maybe today, you don't need to become wiser. Maybe you simply need to put the armor down. Because life was never asking you to carry it, only to live it.